Welcome to day 10 of Chicago Grit. This is the final day. We made it with few scratches, so that's excellent. I am once again at the back, but I have good company. Alfredo Rodriguez down in gel on the start line in the rear view camera. None of us are concerned. This course seems pretty easy to tail gun and or move up, and so that's what we're gonna do. Spend as little energy as possible to get to the front today. I don't think a breakaway is going to roll, but I want to be up there if it does. Tag anything that looks too threatening that is just let to roll off the front. And Alfredo's already getting the work in. You can see him on the left just shooting up to the front. This course got changed. You can see there is a train track above us. This is the L train, I think, in Chicago. And it got really loud, a lot. There will be a point where we just couldn't hear anything going into this right-hand turn. But the course is awesome because of this. It just adds a very unique feel to the whole course. Got some pads on some corners. I think Chicago Grit did a really good job of padding stuff as much as possible in light of recent crashes on those barriers, which can be pretty gnarly. So happy they did that for us. This was probably the worst course of all of them as far as being able to make it safe and controlling crowds, but they did what they could. We'll see a few little points, mainly that second corner that looked a little sketchy if you cut it a little tight, but we all dealt with it. Brendan Fury, Monk, and Clever Martinez there moving up on the right side. This is probably my favorite corner to chop into, but we're a little bit later on in the race, and I'm following Clever up. This right-hander here, you can see the pads on the inside of that. We all cut that very close, knowing there was padding there, even though maybe we shouldn't have every time, but it was pretty easy to do, and a good corner to make up some space. You can see there are already some gaps forming off the back. I think if you weren't comfortable with these corners, you definitely have to sprint and make up some space after the corners, and a lot of those gaps were forming because of that. I'm following Ty Magner right here next to Corey Williams. We're rolling through, saving a bunch of energy, just relaxing, not taking it too seriously. My legs were shot for this race, and I think a lot of guys were more than willing to not kill it, even though we do have guys from those various Legion ecosystem teams. The Blazers and Outlaws have been here the whole time, but the Blazers and Legion themselves have only been here for a few days, and Rainstorm has a pretty fresh squad too, so they'll probably be sniffing out a break. Mido Q is always going to be a little bit aggressive right here next to Brendan Fury, who was on my team on Project Echelon and a good friend of mine. Later, 20 minutes in, following the Mido Q boys, you can see they've got their tiger suit on, which I think was a big hit because it's America and we love ridiculous stuff. And the New Zealanders brought the ridiculous stuff, so huge hit. Chopping corners right here. I think Clever Martinez there chopped pretty close. We were bumping, and it all worked out all right. I think if I'm more comfortable with anybody chopping a corner on me, it's probably Clever. He has a way of not crashing and being predictable, but also aggressive, which is a skill. Later on here, Rainstorm kind of letting a gap go to a group of their guys, and I wanted to close it down. I took that corner very inside and pretty hot, and almost hit the barriers on the outside, but was able to close the gap up to Noah Granigan's wheel here and get into this bigger group, which immediately sat up, so that was a waste of energy. But if they hadn't, it would have been great. 30 minutes to go in the race. I'm on Sam Morris's wheel here, and I believe that it's going to start getting a little weird here. I'm up at the front, been following some things, but trying to save as much energy as possible. Got some guys touching other guys in the underwear. It's a great sport. Rainstorm train was already forming with 29 minutes to go. They were just kind of linking up. I don't know if they were planning to all be together here, but just kind of found each other, which guys give a lot of respect to in these races. If you've got 5 of your own teammates, you often get a little more space. Later on, they called like a $300 preem, and I was kind of at the front, so decided to sniff it out if it was a little bit easier. But these guys started letting the wheels go, and I decided not to close down that gap to those two, even if maybe I could have. It didn't look like it was going to be that possible. Marcus Mendez there on the front, very good sprinter, and we're continuing to roll through. I looked back, saw a little gap, wanted this breakaway to happen, decided I was going to attack over top of this, yelled inside here, and I didn't get it. I did not get the inside of that corner. And then I didn't get the outside of the corner either. And all of a sudden I'm going a lot slower than I was planning on going, and that breakaway didn't even close to happen. So got a little stuffed on a few of these. You can tell off the front here, there's like a big group going. These splits kept happening, which was curious, but after stuff like that, I felt like stuff was really easy to pull back. You can see they're already back. Once the group sits up even a little bit, all of a sudden it comes back. But here is the dangerous split of the day. Saw them through that corner there. And a lot of guys missed it. But no big teams really missed it. Hustle missed it, and I think the Outlaws missed it. But there was Tyler Williams from the Blazers, Fergus Arthur from Rainstorm, Ben Oliver from ABC, and Taylor Marshall from Expeditors, and then they had one of the MitoQ guys, probably Marshall, I think, up in that move too. So almost every team that is big enough to pull it back has someone up there, and that's going to make this gap grow pretty big. Ulysses Castillo's team tried to pull stuff back. The Outlaws were spending guys pretty hard trying to get this back, and Sam Morris here on the left of me, he also attempted to get across to this, but sadly was not able to. We'll see him a little bit later trying to get across. We're going kind of hard, and in the rear view you can see Chris overlap the wheels with me a little bit, and the pack shifted, all led to this unfortunate event of him losing his front wheel on my rear wheel. Not cool to see. We're good buds. Luckily he did not get injured really at all, which is amazing for a crash at that speed. And I think his bike was pretty busted up, but unfortunate incident there. 1 minute to go in the race, and the camera cut out, so that was unfortunate. So we're just going to go to the rear cam for the last handful of laps, and the rear cam shows some dicey stuff. Oh, Brendan Fury there, chopping the inside of a corner. I think that's 2 laps to go there, and now we're entering the last lap. He's on my wheel. You can see Noah Granigan on the right of Monk there. Minute to go in the race, so we're rolling through fast. There's a Rainstorm lead out up at the front. I'm feeling like I'm in pretty good position for the sprint. Monk's threading the needle, get around Wolfgang here, the German, and we're all fighting for the last 2 corners here. The field sprint, I think, was for like 6th place, 7th place, something like that, and everybody was fighting pretty hard for that field sprint on the last day. So diving into the last 2 corners, I feel like I'm in pretty good position. Weirdly, back there you can see the pack is tiny, but I'm pretty far forward up into this last corner. Open up the sprint. There's kind of a headwind on the sprint, so didn't have to hit it too hard. Stay in the wheels until the last possible second, and then start kicking again here with like 100 meters to go. You can see guys from the lead out train pulling back. I ended up bike throwing Wolfgang and that Ribble guy for, I think, 13th place. But overhead, we got Ron Short camera. You can see the sprint from the field, or from the breakaway. Ben Oliver took it up early. Robin Carpenter and Tyler Williams right behind him, and then Fergus back here trying to go for 4th. Ended up Ben Oliver took the win out of the sprint, Tyler Williams in 2nd, and Robin Carpenter in 3rd. Yeah, I ended up 13th place there. And then the overall, Ben Oliver, Fergus, and Lucas Burgoyne, I ended up 11th down there, which is pretty cool. Thanks for watching. See ya. Where's Chris at? He crashed really hard.
Got a free?
Yeah, and then he crashed on my wheel.
Hey, love your content, bro.
Appreciate
Good
it.
shit.
There, you're in.
Let's go.